I'm Carlo Mancatelli of Time 2 Resources. This video will help you to understand long-run costs of production. If you want to make notes whilst following the video, why not download the handy PDF note taker? The link can be found in the description box below. The long run is the time period in which no factors of production are fixed. In the long run, the firm can add more of the fixed factor, for example adding more capital. Returns to scale are crucial in understanding that the relationship between factor inputs and output, for example machines to finished goods. In the long run we look at returns to scale. These are the changes in the level of output due to a proportionate change in factor inputs. Returns to scale can be categorized in three ways. Increasing returns to scale occur if output increases by proportionately more than input. For example, if a firm increases inputs by 10%, and output increases by 15%. Constant returns to scale occur if output increases by the same amount as the input. For example, if a firm increases inputs by 10% and output increases by 10%. And finally, decreasing returns to scale occur if output increases by proportionately less than input. For example, if a firm increases inputs by 10% and output only increases by 5%. In the long run, a firm faces prospective costs. The future cost the firm will only take if it goes ahead with an investment decision. These can be compared to sunk costs in the short run. These are costs that are in the past. They've already been paid. The firm should take investment decisions based on merit, for example future costs and revenues, not the sunk costs of the past. In the diagram we first have increasing returns to scale, where long run average cost falls as output increases by proportionately more than input. Then we have constant returns to scale, the level of output over which long run average cost reaches its lowest point and output increases by the same amount as the input. The minimum efficient scale, or MES, is that point where the long run average cost starts to be at its lowest point. Decreasing returns to scale occur as long run average cost rises as output increases by proportionally less than input. The MES of a firm will have implications as to the degree of competition in the market. MES is low for firms in certain industries such as hairdressing. However, in other industries, such as those in mass markets that are capital intensive, the MES can occur at high levels of output. Therefore, firms in some industries will operate on a large scale. Firms will take into account a variety of factors when choosing factor inputs. This is dependent on the type of product being produced, the relative cost of each factor of production, and the price elasticity of demand for the product, as pricing elastic products will allow the firm to charge higher prices, passing the cost on to the consumer. Firms will attempt to minimize the cost of using factors of production whilst maximizing the quantity and/or the quality of the product. The optimal resource mix is how we refer to the best way of combining the factors of production in order to meet these requirements within financial constraints. Capital-intensive production uses a relatively high proportion of capital, such as machinery in the production of a good or service. This tends to occur in the secondary sector of the economy, i.e. manufacturing. Labour-intensive production uses a relatively high proportion of workers in the production of a good or service. This tends to occur in the tertiary sector of the economy, i.e. services. Economies of scale are decreases in the average cost of production as the scale of production is increased. Whilst returns to scale are about the relationship between factor inputs and output, it's crucial to understand that economies of scale is about the relationship between factor outputs and changes in the average cost per unit of output. Internal economies of scale occur due to an increase in scale of production of a firm. These take a variety of forms. Purchasing economies might be for bulk buying, therefore the firm gets a discount. Technical economies is the use of specialist, often expensive capital, such as machinery. Managerial economies is where the firm can afford to employ specialist labour, for example accountants, lawyers or technical experts. Financial economies occur where a firm gets better credit ratings. Large firms are seen to be less likely to fail and can therefore borrow money at lower interest rates. External economies of scale occur due to an increase in the scale of production within the industry in which the firm operates. There are a variety of external economies. Some of these include infrastructure economies. The government is willing to invest in transport, internet, power, perhaps other utilities to meet the needs of growing industries. Supplier economies occur where suppliers and labour specialise as the rewards are much greater in a growing industry. Innovation economies occur when firms invest in product and process development to meet the needs of the growing industry. Diseconomies of scale increases in the average cost of production as the scale of production is increased. Internal diseconomies are due to an increase in the scale of production of a firm. Communication diseconomies occur when a firm grows in size and it becomes more difficult to communicate efficiently within the organisation. Coordination diseconomies occur when a firm grows in size and it becomes more difficult to coordinate the increased number of personnel and customers. X inefficiency occurs when a firm is not maximising output from the given factor inputs. For example, capital and labour is not operating effectively. External diseconomies are due to an increase in the scale of production within the industry in which the firm operates. Negative externalities such as road congestion caused by having too many firms concentrated in the same area, or higher wage costs due to demand for skilled labour outstripping supply. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. If you haven't already done so, why not subscribe to the Time to Resources YouTube channel now?